Surprising animals that have been successfully cloned. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, the concept of cloning has long captured the imagination of audiences. However, it has branched out from science fiction and become a part of everyday reality. Many have heard about Dolly the sheep, who arguably remains the most famous cloned animal. 5. Przewalski's horses. Przewalski's horses are said to be the last truly wild horses. By 2020, they were reported to be extinct in the wild, with a small population surviving in zoos and reserves. Like other endangered species, their numbers shrunk so much that the remaining population lacked genetic diversity. All surviving Przewalski's horses descend from the same 12 ancestors. Luckily, researchers at the Frozen Zoo in San Diego had the cells of a Przewalski's horse from 4 decades earlier among its collection of 1,100 other species. The cells contained DNA that was rarely found in the surviving population. By fusing the cells with the egg of a surrogate mother and removing the egg's nucleus, scientists were able to create the first clone of the species, called Kurt. Kurt was born in Texas in August 2020, and it is hoped once he reaches breeding age, he will be an important part of the plan to return Przewalski's horses to the wild eventually. For Pyrenean ibex. Some clones have been created using cells that were frozen decades ago. This creates the possibility of resurrecting species that go extinct after their cells have been gathered and frozen. Well, this happened on one occasion in 2009, but the success was very short-lived. The animal was a Pyrenean ibex, also known as a bucardo. These were a subspecies of Spanish ibex whose population had been decimated by hunting throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. The last of them died after being hit by a falling branch in 2000, but not before samples of his skin cells had been frozen. These were used to make 208 embryos, which were implanted into surrogate Spanish ibexes and goat ibex hybrids. There was only one successful birth, but the clone had lung problems and died of respiratory failure minutes later. Scientists said abnormalities are common and seem to happen when DNA is shifted between cells. They were also quick to stop people from thinking we will soon be cloning long-extinct species like the woolly mammoth, explaining that current methods of cloning require a very similar surrogate to carry the embryo. 3. Cows. One of the most successfully cloned mammal species is cows, and they continue to be cloned for several different reasons. By 2003, cows were being cloned and genetically engineered, so their milk produced proteins required to manufacture pharmaceuticals. A different industry that also saw potential in genetically engineered clones was cheesemaking. In 2003, scientists from New Zealand created cow clones with higher protein milk, which could speed up the cheesemaking process. This was achieved by putting extra genes for 2 milk proteins into the cow cells before they were implanted into surrogates. A similar technique was used by Argentine scientists in 2011 to create Rosita Isa, a clone cow that produced human-like milk. The researchers aimed to increase the nutritional and antibacterial content of cow's milk. 2. Camels. Countries in Asia and the West are not the only ones who got into the cloning craze of the 21st century. The Middle East also had success cloning mammals. In 2009, a female one-humped camel clone called Injaz was born in the United Arab Emirates. She was genetically identical to a camel who died 4 years earlier. At the time, the researchers expressed their hope that they had found a solution that would help them preserve the valuable genes of racing and milk-producing camels. Little did they know that by 2023, it would become their full-time job. However, the demand for dozens of camel clones each year is driven by a different motivation: camel beauty pageants. These contests are so popular in the Gulf states that prizes can be millions of dollars. Cloning camel beauty queens has become a big business for scientists, along with cloning racers and pets. They are also using their techniques to help endangered species, such as wild 2-humped Bactrian camels. 9. One monkey. 2000 saw the birth of the world's first monkey clone. Cloning a primate was a significant advance and seemed especially quick, given Dolly the sheep was cloned only 4 years earlier. However, the technique used was different from Dolly's. Tetra, the cloned monkey, was created by embryo splitting. That is when an embryo is split into 4 parts. Scientists essentially replicate what happens naturally during pregnancy to produce twins, triplets, and quadruplets. Their success in doing this raised concerns about the technology being used to create human clones. In fact, Tetra's case was fraught with ethical concerns. Cloning by embryo splitting can result in multiple genetically identical clones born around the same time, which can be raised in highly controlled settings, making them excellent subjects for experiments. Being closely related to humans means they could be a valuable way to study human diseases and produce life-saving cures more quickly. Many people object to raising animals for the sole purpose of experimentation, especially more cognizant ones like monkeys. That's all for today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.